heaven's rule of freedom for the faithful lives.
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, please be seated. If Jesus appeared to you, would you know it? Who knew Jesus better than his apostles? They knew him very well. They had lived with him intimately for 3 years. And yet they did not know that it was him on the shore until he said something that echoed in their mind. Cast your net to the right side and you'll find something. Remembering that that was where it all began. That was the first time. When he first was introduced to the apostles, those his disciples, they had been out fishing all night long, and they hadn't caught anything. And he said, have you caught anything? No. Well, cast your net to the right. And they said, but we've been out here all night, we didn't catch anything. But they did as he asked. And the net was so filled with fish, they needed 2 boats to get it in. It was as if Jesus was saying to them, do I have to do this all over again? Do you not get it yet? Do I have to repeat this whole cycle? I will, you know. Do I have to be crucified yet again for you to understand what was meant to be, had to be, that the Christ had to suffer? He had to be crucified. He had to die. He had to give up his whole body, mind, and spirit in order to reset the fall of man. Do you not understand this yet? Do you not get it? They got it. If Jesus appeared to you, would you know it? You say, oh yes, sure, I would know it. How would you know it? Man in a robe, with a beard, long hair? Probably not. Jesus appears to us in so many ways in his resurrection. He appears to us where we least expect it, and in a manner in which we may miss it if we're not paying attention. But he said to Jerusalem, "O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how I have longed to gather you as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings. And yet you will reject me. Would that you would know the day of your visitation." Each one of us gets a visitation. Each one of us gets a time in which he comes to us. Would that we would know the day of our visitation. Sometimes it's very profound. A man sitting on a park bench looks over and sees a man dressed just like Jesus sitting there on a park bench. Says, wow, that's somebody trying to look like Jesus. What a coup. Sees the man get up, walk away, stretch, and there's thousands of scars on his back, on his legs. Gets up to follow him, he's gone. Oh Lord, come back. Man goes searching through the whole city looking for him. Where'd that man go? I knew that man. I knew it looked like Jesus. I thought he was some kind of lunatic, and he was just looking like Jesus. But then I saw those scars, and I saw how the little children watched him with their eyes. And then the saying comes to your head. It says, oh, where I'm going, you cannot go. But I will come for you, and I'll prepare a place for you. searching through the cities, the highways, the byways, the lonely places, searching for him. Most people, myself included, would spend my lifetime just sitting and waiting for something to happen. Come, Lord Jesus, well, let it happen to me. But there is the other side of that story, which has a yearning. If you know that you love him, then you will seek him. If you know within your heart that you have a burning desire to know him as he is, then you will seek him. You will seek him out in the highways, the byways, the lonely places, and in the dark, and in the distressed, and in the suffering, and in the poor. You will seek him out, not being satisfied until you find him. Every once in a while you'll get a glimpse. Oh, there he is. There's my Lord. Oh, there he is. Just enough for you to keep on searching. This yearning within us, this burning desire to express to the Lord, yes, Lord, you know I love you. If you love me, why did you deny me 3 times? I was weak and I was lost and I was afraid. But I love you. The burning desire to know him comes before everything else. This desire to know him, to find him, to seek him out, so that you might just be with him. Can't be satisfied with money, riches, power, titles. Can't be satisfied with those things. Food can't be filled enough. It just makes you fat and lazy. You can't go looking anymore. Too satisfied. King David said, my heart yearns for you like the deer that yearns for the running stream, like a parched land yearns for the rain. The yearning within us inspires a faith that when I find you, I will know it. And when I know it, I will always be forever changed. The problem is that we know that there is a cross involved in that. An old monk once told me a story about he wanted to go out in search of perfect love. I want to know what perfect love is. It was the age of perfect love. Everybody was going around looking for the perfect love. I want to know the perfect love. We heard that there was a house way back deep in the woods, in the dark forest, that there was a house of perfect love. And he spent his whole monastic life asking one monk after the other, do you know about the house of perfect love? Yeah, I've heard about it. Where is it? Well, you have to go find it. I don't know where it is. Go find it. It's out there. One day, he made up his mind, I'm going to go and I'm going to find this house of perfect love out there in the middle of the forest, in the dark forest. So he bundled up his knapsack and he took off. And he went through the forest and he went through up the mountains, down in the valleys. He proceeded along the riverbed. He proceeded along the ridge, always looking. Finally, he came across a house. In a beautiful clearing, a beautiful meadow, birds singing, waterfall behind it, a brook running by. Had a sign above it, House of Perfect Love. Had a sign on the sidewalk pointing this way. House of Perfect Love, this way. an open door. Above it was another sign that said, House of Perfect Love. He saw that. The monk saw that. And he ran. He ran. He was filled with fear. He was filled with terror. He ran as far as he could away from that house, and he never wanted to look back. He never wanted to go back. He got miles and miles away, filled with fear and trembling and dread. As he relayed this story to me, I asked him, why? You yearned for that house of perfect love. You made it your life's quest to go find it. Why, when you found it, couldn't you not go in? He said, because I knew there was a cross in there. And I wasn't ready for it. It frightened me to my core. I could not give up all that I had, meager as it was. There's another story that I like to tell about the perfect love. And this whole idea of knowing our visitation and having a yearning that calls us to the light. When I was a hermit monk living in the mountains, in a little house, with a running stream, with a waterfall, I would read at night before my window, and I had 3 candles set up in front of me so that I could have enough light to actually read at night. And it was summertime. And I had on my house a screen door, very fine mesh, little bitty holes in that screen door. And there was sitting there in pretty much perfect silence reading my book. It was a little fly, a little teeny tiny fly. What was that? Looked up and there he was on the window. I said, hello. Went back to reading my book. Back on the window. Back to reading my book. Pop! A little fly was called to the light. As he got so close to the light, the heat would cause fear in him, and he would run away, fly away. After a time and a time again of trying to approach the light that he'd been yearning for all his life, he couldn't resist it. And finally he said, I'm going for it. And he went in. Pop! And he gave up all he ever knew and all he thought that he was. He was transferred to the light. And the light did with it what it was going to do. It's like that with us. If we say, well, I am but a little fly in the universe, yearning for the light, and when I see the light, I run from it. What kind of faith is that? Well, that's ordinary faith, but we must overcome it and say, I don't care. Come what may, I love you. And when I love you, you're not going, I shall never deny you again. And then we do. And then we do. And then we do yet again. Deny him again. Because we retreat into our worldly world. Because we're of the worldly world. This story is not intended to bring guilt upon us. There's plenty of that to go around. We don't need to stress it. It's to awaken in you that which is already there. The yearning the yearning for Christ that is the yearning for your life, for life itself, for the light that is life itself, the essence, the truth. St. Paul says, speak only the truth. Well, I am. The truth is already in you. The light is already in you. The yearning is already in you. The essence of life is already in you, or you would not be alive. You exist. You are. And by faith in him, you are in him. And by being in him, you can tell the man to walk, and he'll walk. You can tell the man to rise up. Your sins are forgiven, and they are forgiven. It is this realization of the connectedness of you, your life, why you were created to be in it, to yearn for him like the deer that yearns for the running stream. It is something that you can deny all your life and get nowhere. Or you can confront it and say, I do yearn for you, O God, but I'm still afraid. I'm afraid to die. I don't want to give up all that I have, meager though it may be. He says, go out and feed my sheep, feed my lambs, feed my ewes, take care of business, spread the gospel, do good things to good people, love your enemies, be kind. Do these things while you are living, and you will be the light of the world. Don't worry about that day. That day will come. But be ready for that day. Don't deny it. You can be a denial. Say, well, yes, I know that day is going to come. I know it's coming. No man gets out of it. But we embrace it as a means to overcome. Our love for him overcomes our fear of death. Our love for him overcomes our fear of dying. Our love for him overcomes our fear of the coronavirus, a pandemic, a built-up hysteria that has no real basis in fact, I think. You all are witnesses that you can survive it. You can live an ordinary life. You can breathe the ordinary air and still survive, right? Okay. Well, I guess our number isn't up there. But we are driven not by chance and happenstance. We are driven by faith. And our faith prevents anything bad from happening to us when it's not time to happen to us. So in this age, this time of pandemic and mass hysteria, I look out on you and I see people who are calm, and I see people who are reasonable, and I see people who are going about their ordinary life trying to survive this particular day in the usual fashion. And so, my heart is with you. And what I can tell you is that my yearning for Christ Jesus has its manifestation in you. And I hope that your manifestation in your love for Christ Jesus has its manifestation in me and all of us. That we can share in the greatest of all gifts, and that is the gift of love. Not the soupy, sloppy kind of love that we're talking about, but we're talking about the love that is genuine. The genuine Christ love. Genuine. The real deal. Speak the truth. I really like that little fly. Little fly taught me a lot. Taught me a very powerful lesson, and I honor its sacrifice because it was just for me. That was a time of visitation.